Good day, everyone. In this video, I will continue the token-based authentication, which act like a session in Node-RED and UIBuilder. If you are new to my channel, don't forget to like and subscribe. To continue with our token-based authentication with Node-RED and UIBuilder, I will open our previously created project with this code. So, file open? No, not file open, but rather open folder and sample. I'll select sample. To hasten the process of this tutorial, I will open my pre-made project in Sublime Text. Sorry, code. So we left off last time with our login logout, but does not take effect when we refresh, or the login does not take effect, or the session is not remembered when we refresh the page. So let's start by adding in database the field or the table TUserMaster. I will provide in the link or in the files from the Google Drive the script to create this table. So right now, my TUserMaster has table or has columns user ID, the primary key. It would be faster if we display it this way. So we have user ID, the primary key, is active is just a flag, user code, in which this will be our username in the login, the password, the username, and the avatar. The avatar is just the link for this one. And the username is this one. Our password is encrypted with MD5. I think that's all for our database. Now for the front end, or rather the back end, we will also have an endpoint URL tots login. So in this endpoint, I will check whether the user code and password exist, and if it does, I will return it to our front end. We can check this one using advanced REST client. So open anyways and check. So our JSON body, we will pass the JSON with a parameter with a property user code 1506 and password in MD5. So right now our endpoint works. So we already have our working endpoint. Next is we will modify the front end so that we can check or we can update our login. Right now, we have login. Let us first modify the index.html. In our index.html, I will add the event listener onload or the function onload Now, our onload function is triggered every time we refresh the page or we load the page from another instance of Chrome. What? So let's just comment this first and try to check the effect of this one. So refresh, Control Shift I, then console. Right now, this is null. You can also check this link to see which part of the code that console.log located is located. So currently, we have onload. Here, the local storage that get item checks from the local storage, so from the browser, if the key token exists. So right now, the key token is null. Since we didn't set a value per token, or we didn't store that in our local storage. Next is I will create a variable session with the topic startup with the property topic, its value startup, a property token, and its value is the token we tried to retrieve. Since this one is null, our the value of our token is null. Next is let's start UIBuilder and send call UIBuilder.send and let's pass the session as parameter. Right now, let's check on what its effect when we log in. So currently, we don't. What's its effect when we refresh the page? Currently, there is none other than displaying of the ID. Next is let's go to index.js, and in here, in the mounted part, we have UIBuilder.start and UIBuilder.onChange. Note that this function onChange is called every time we perform UIBuilder.send. So let's try console.log message or new val. Since it's the parameter, try to refresh. Null. Sorry about that. I think I mistaken that. UIBuilder.onChange is called every time the UIBuilder node receives input from this part of the node, from the front end. So let's try this one. I'll link it here and it here. We'll just remove that for the meantime and deploy. So let me check UI builder session. It tries to send it here. it goes back here and it's received. Let me check. It didn't do anything, so console that log and test. Here. It, so what happens is once we perform the UI builder that send, it the message is being passed here and it returns here through this path, the broken line, and it triggered the method on change. So let's check the variable if it was sent. Here, it was sent topic. So let's try to modify this one. Add additional property. Uh, my message I was passed. And let's refresh. So I was passed. Again, it from the UI builder that sent, it went out, passed to the next node. But since our next node just returns to our UI builder, it triggered the on change and our session here is being accepted as the value new val and we printed it. So far it's working. Next part is we completed our session. Let's modify our index.js to check the topic. So right now, instead of new val, I will just use message and check whether what type of function are we doing. Start up, log in, or log out. Note the view up is this instance since we have declaration here that view up is this. Next is we will also copy the definition of our user. So our user has now is log avatar. I added avatar. User ID active, user code, login success. I think this is similar from the previous tutorial. We added just set user and token. So I will just copy this part and paste it here. Now we will implement the set user and set token. The set user is just a function with a parameter, the user details, while set token is I will explain that later. So for the meantime, I will just copy this one and add it here. Set user, so locking comma and the set token. Let's just copy this one for the meantime. Next is I will modify our login.view. Login.view. So in the UI, we don't have changes, only in the click function. So, or the login function, which is called when we click the login button. So now our login will become like this. Our previous login is just simple validation since we hard coded the user details. Now our login will use MD5 encryption. So from our login form, input from this one or this field is being encrypted, and we will pass that encrypted password to our endpoint touch login, and in turn will check from database if that user exists. So if you don't know how to install a module, please check part 1 of this tutorial on how to install module. Right now, to give you a clue on how we do that, you can, or to give you details on how to do that, go perform or find node modules, type cmd, and let's check the md5. Yan. Copy this command, paste, install md5. So we have md5 installed. Now go to UIBuilder. First is go to settings, packages, and with notepad. We have MD5, so copy this one. And in our UI builder, config, open with notepad. You must add MD5 here. And in the package list, you must also include MD5. In the index.html, we will also need to include the link to our MD5. So we will erase this part. Now our login will access database. So for this red one or red curly braces means there's an error. So let me check it. I think I have locking braces, curly braces. The login. Why it? I think it locks one curly bracer. Let's try. So far, the login is okay. Okay, it locked one curly brace. In the index.js, I think we need as well to update our logout user for the logout. So in the index.js, I will copy my logout. Logout, perform logout. Next part is let's modify this one to use a different path. So every time we perform a UI builder that send, a message is passed from the UI builder node to the next node, in which this one, let's check for a topic, whether it's login, logout, or startup. If we log in, we get we set a token and assign a value for that. And once it's completed, it must return to the UI builder node to trigger the onChange function. So I think let's deploy this one and check whether our login works. Login, okay, and refresh. So our login works. Why? Control Shift I, login, and refresh. Okay, now works. And once we open another instance, login and our user is remembered. Let me modify some part of the header to display our username and the avatar. Right now, our user is still system administrator. It is hard coded in this part, system administrator and the avatar. Since we already retrieved that detail, or we retrieved that detail, so let's just use it here. And let's bind source with our avatar. Note that this will not take effect since we already set it ahead. Oh, simple images helmet that. Okay. I don't have image for that. So let's just copy. Right now we have images, helmet, and mechanic. I'll go to part 8, sample, SRC, images, helmet, and mechanic. So let's try. So we have our helmet. Let's try to modify the value mechanic. Mechanic. And apply. Wait. Mechanic name. There. So far that's our login logout feature with our own implementation of token based authentication. I will upload another video explaining how the entire flow works. So I think you can review on that one, so that I think there are lots of concepts being explained here or being uh, implemented. Since unfortunately UIBuilder and Node-RED don't have sessions, so might as well create your own implementation. So again, thank you for watching and see you in the next tutorial. Happy coding!